So I'm gonna go ahead and get this over with because it's raining and it's raining and it's lights are already blinking over here. So if the lights go out, excuse me, if the lights go out, I'm not sure how long it'll be. So anyway, uh, as the title suggests, I seen Cruella yesterday, and let's start off with answering the question. Did it hold up? Kind of, but did it hold up to the earlier films? Not really, especially the animated one, especially the one with Glenn Close, which I think the one with Glenn Close is actually better than this one, but I wouldn't say it's better than the animated one, honestly. So anyway, yeah, um, I'm kind of iffy about it because it's like, well, do I like it? Do I hate it? It's kind of in the middle for me, and so see people are still off my videos. Um, that's fine. Um, it's kind of like in the middle for me. Uh, it's a movie. That's what I wrote on my Facebook. It's a movie. You know, it's another one of those movie remakes that wants to make this give like a long explanation about why the villain's a villain, kind of like Maleficent, which Maleficent I didn't really like at all, because it ruined the story so much uh, from the original, not the original source material, but the original uh, movie that was that was made. Um, Sorry about that. I was looking for through something. So yeah, it like it's one of those movies. It's one of those remakes, origin things that love to explain every detail. I don't like prequels like that that want to explain every detail uh, of why this happened or why this happened. You know, why does she hate Dalmatians? Uh, because they killed her mother. Which, by the way, was pretty stupid. Um, like I found myself being like just shouting bullshit. Like that's just this is just ridiculous, you know. And like I've heard that this kind of they kind of Batman whoever made this kind of Batman the character of Cruella, um, which yeah. is kind of true. Uh, I can see that now. Uh, yeah, from like the whole oh she had a rough childhood because she was different cliche, which has been done before. Uh, Starts fights in schools. Um, Made one friend who goes on to like to be with her in her childhood, from her childhood to her adulthood. Um, Getting fired from school and going to a new place. All those cliches that's happened before, again and again and again, to like, oh, her mother died, but then and she thinks it's her fault when it turns out that it wasn't. It was Emma Thompson's, not Emma. Well, I don't know her character's name, but it's Emma Thompson's fault. Um, Baroness or whatever. I think Baroness. I think is her name. Uh, that was her fault, and then that you know you find that out in like the end, and then you find out oh that's not all. The Baroness was a her real mother, and that her fake mother that she her fake mother that raised her and everything isn't her real mother, and then she's born from a rich family and uh, dropped into a poor state of mind. Uh, Rags to riches story, another another cliche. So like you have these all these cliches that are happening, you know. Um, it's like one after the other. Um, so anyway, she gets kicked from school because people are bullying her and like starting fights and shit, and starting fights, and she's getting so many marks on her record that the principal's just like, get out. Uh, we can't have you here because you're starting trouble. They move to another town in England, upward. They stop at this place where her mom tells her to stay in the car when she talks to this lady who surprisingly is a baroness who is actually Corella's real mother. Spoilers. I should really put like a spoiler warning, guys. Um, I think I should. I'll do that at the end. Anyway, so of course, Cruella being a child, doesn't listen to her mother, and her curiosity gets the best of her, and she goes into this place where all these people, these royal people with the gowns and whatnot, fancy places, uh, all this fancy food. This she's her mind's blown from wow, you know, she sees all these rich people when she was been in poor her whole life, and it like blows her mind. And then Mark Strong's character, who you find come to find out knew all along that Cruella was uh, the Baroness's child, takes Cruella outside, and the dog then like oh the Dalmatians hate her because of course, um, and then they chase her and her dog, and they go outside, and then turns out that the Baroness her dog whistle and turns the dogs on the mother, who is suspiciously near a cliff for the simple reason of, well, she's going, of course, she's going to be pushed off, you know. Um, so, and that's what happens. The dogs push her off the cliff. Which, by the way, the dogs are, well, actually, I'll tell you in the end. But it, wow, it gives another good reason of why Cruella hates these two dogs, two Dalmatians. Uh, of course, they're Dalmatians, because of course you have to explain. Well, why does she hate Dalmatians? This is why. Because they killed her mother in like the most ridiculous way possible. Um, so her mother dies. Now she's back on the street. She sees Horace and Jasper, who are these like thieves, and then uh, they have a budding relationship. Another, like, yet another cliche, of course. Um, Years pass, and they're still stealing and living the life of luxury as thieves. Uh, as much luxury as you can get from that. And turns out that Jasper helps Ella, who is not Cruella. By the way, come to find out that Cruella is actually Ella's multiple personality. Um, when she got in the fights, that's Cruella. When she did all these bad things, it was Cruella, not Ella. Anyway, Ella into um, this place where they make gowns and dresses and whatnot, so she can be a designer like she wanted to her whole life. Uh, the boss hates her, and then she, instead of like doing dresses and shit, she's like the maid. And then one day she there's like this long um, scene. There's like these long cut scenes of her asking her boss about the window display and wanting to like give advice about things, and then the boss cuts her off, and then one day she gets drunk and uh, she redoes like the window display and like falls asleep, and this surprisingly the Baroness comes, and then she's like, who did the window display? And then the Ella's boss is like, calls her out, like, that's the girl who's being arrested, and she's uh fired, and for you know doing her job poorly. And then surprisingly, the Baroness is like, well, uh, come work for me. And then you were a fool for, tells the boss, you were a fool for um, firing her. So during this time, oh, by the way, Ella dyes her hair, but she was born that black and white, you know, black on one side, white on one side. She was born with that, so she dyes it so nobody will be like, oh, that's the thief, or that's the girl that you know went to that party and like you know her mother was killed and like blah blah blah, because the Baroness is trying to find this girl, uh, because because Ella's her daughter, and it's this whole big huge thing, and Ella finds out. Well, Ella works for the Baroness, does dresses, and the Baroness is a bitch to everyone. including Ella. And then Ella finds out that the Baroness has um, her mother's locket, which her mother gave to Ella, where she lost when she lost at Baroness's house, where they were having a party because the cops were chasing her and the Baroness was trying to get rid of her and whatnot. Like I said, because Ella's her daughter, and so yeah, and then Baroness says that the necklace was stolen by her mother, when it wasn't, when it was apparently heirloom, and then uh, Ella's like tells Jasper and Horace, she called my mother a thief, and then this whole thing happens where it's like we're gonna try and get the necklace back, and it turns into like a British version of Ocean's 11, which failed by the way, and which the Baroness sees Cruella, not Ella, Cruella, because Cruella is the only one that can go to this ball, so they can take the the necklace because Ella can't be there or she'll get fired. So it's like, well, okay, Cruella's will be there, and then this rivalry rivalry between Baroness and Cruella start, and then uh, which expands into this weird montage of them outdoing each other uh, in weird dresses, like who has the better dress, and then tabloids, uh, the tabloids are on it too, and they're like, "Oh, Corella's this big deal," and then nobody wants to talk about the Baroness. Baroness gets jealous, and like I said, it just turns into this whole huge thing where like they try and outdo each other, and then it turns into like Ella kidnaps the Dalmatians because the Dalmatians during this whole scene of them trying to steal the necklace, one of them eats the necklace, and so Horace and Jasper steals the puppies, the excuse me, not the puppies, the dogs, so they can get the necklace back from Cruella's request, and then she has this other guy working on dresses, and then, like I said, this whole montage of them, of the Baroness and Cruella outdoing each other with um, in dresses, and then like who has the better dress, and then it turns into this rivalry, and then it comes from then it's like it like explodes whole into this whole thing where like the Baroness kidnaps Horace and Jasper and ties Corwin, and you know she's gonna burn Cruella alive and send Jasper and Horace to the police. And she's only going to kill Cruella because Cruella, aka Ella, who she finds out is Cruella, um, finally, because the Baroness doesn't like to be upstaged. So yeah. Oh, I didn't mention that. Didn't mention that one of the floor shows that's been done turns into like this whole rock thing where um, where Ella's friend, Cruella's friend, who's doing the dresses, is singing the Iggy Pop song "I Want to Be Your Dog," which is pretty relevant to this because 100 Dalmatians, the sound, and that's one of the songs in this marvelous soundtrack. I gotta say that the only thing that beats uh, the other movies is this soundtrack from Cruella, which is amazing. It's fantastic. Sure, it goes all over the place. It comes from like 60s to 70s music to disco to like hip hop for some reason. Uh, but it's only in like one scene, but it doesn't matter. Like it's the soundtrack's just fantastic. It's fantastic, and if I would literally get the CD of the soundtrack and like play it like over and over again. It's amazing. Um, like they have like the Doors, they have uh the Rolling Stones, like I said, Iggy Pop. Um, they have a cover of the Beatles song "Come Together." Um, they have "These Boots Are Made for Walking." I don't know who sings that, but that song's on there. Um, like all these songs, like on there, and it's amazing. But anyway, um, Cruella is saved by Mark Strong's character, who is the butler of the Baroness. Then, of course, the history of Cruella, aka Ella, is told, where she's like, comes to find out that the locket that her mother gave her has a key, and it unlocks this this um this jewelry box with Ella's birth certificate. And surprise, the Baroness is Ella's mother. So then, uh, Mark Strong's character goes on to say how the Baroness is so conceited that she didn't want to be pregnant, and she's like wanted Mark Strong's character to just to kill the baby, which I don't I forget Mark Strong's character, so I'm just gonna call him Mark Strong right now. Uh, which, by the way, Mark Strong's a fucking amazing actor. By the way, um, he could play in anything, and I would have loved him for it. And Emma Stone, I haven't said it yet, but Emma Stone is an okay. I liked her as Cruella, and she can play Ella, timid and nice, but not really, you know, over the top nice. Her Cruella impression is, I thought would come off as cringy, but it's all right. Like I like it, but it's not going close. Uh, it's not close to going close. Impression of her. But anyway, and Emma Thompson is like this amazing villain. Like I think it was Brad Jones or it was either Brad Jones or the Cinema Snob or Nostalgia Critic, um, Doug Walker, that said Emma Thompson's character is devil. Whereas no, it was actually it was Brad Jones. Um, he said that Emma Emma Thompson's, I'm gonna keep calling her Emma Stone for some reason. Emma Thompson's character, the Baroness, is like this Devil Wears Prada slash uh, Bond villain mix, and it shows. Like she's amazing villain, amazing. She's amazing in this movie. Anyway, uh, then has this epiphany where it's like, well, I'm I'm better than her. Even though she's my real mom, and she's saying this to she like goes to this fountain and talks to like her mom, her mom's you know like she's acting like she's talking to her mom. Um and she's saying like you may be my fake mom, but you loved me and I see now that you're protecting me. And then like she goes and she's like breaks Horace and Jasper out of jail, and then she tells them the Baroness is my mom. Like I didn't kill my mom. The Baroness killed my mom. And it's just like the second time they did this thing where she's like tells them like all these epiphanies and whatnot. First it was like the Baroness killed my mother, and now it's like the Baroness is my mother. You know, cliches all over the place. But anyway, uh, they make this whole give they do this whole plan where they plan out how they're gonna frame the Baroness, and then Mark Strong's characters in it. So as the party's going on, we have all these people who dyed their hair black and on one side and white on the other to you know remember Cruella, who was like this amazing hero, like this this outstanding hero, um, which like I said they did. Hi Hunter. Actually, I liked it as well. It's not the best, so it's not as good as Jungle Book, but it's not as bad as most of the other Disney remakes out there. Um, I haven't seen all of them. Like I'm going to say, I'm gonna put, I'm gonna keep putting out like Maleficent because like I hated it, and my friends loved Maleficent. I don't know why. Like I don't understand why, but like if you like Maleficent, that's good on you. But like it just like destroyed Sleeping Beauty for me. I love the Jungle Book remake. I get that it's not for some people. I do. Um, but I liked it. But yeah, like it. My main thing for Maleficent was like they made the king out to be like this bad guy, whereas like he wasn't in the original Sleeping Beauty. Like watch the '60s like watch the '60s Sleeping Beauty, and you'll see that Maleficent is actually the the, the like the bad guy. But yeah, they turned it into like no, Maleficent was just misunderstood. Um, like she was betrayed by the king, and you know all these things. I'm like that that makes no sense. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I get that it's not for people. Most people like it. Some people hate it. I get that. That's That's just like I love the Lady and the Tramper remake for what it's worth. A lot of people don't like it. Like my sister doesn't like it. My sister Megan doesn't like it. She thinks it's unnecessary. And yeah, there it's true. It is unnecessary, but in itself, I love it. Yeah, and it's okay that you didn't like it. I mean, like I said, people like different things. So where was I? Oh, by the way, I'm outside now. I can hear the rain. So, um, so their plan is to get everyone outside, and Cruella Lee, who is like now Ella, by the way, um, um, she calls she uses the same whistle, um, which she stole from the Baroness, be a distraction by stabbing her with a pin. Then, you know, the Baroness looks back and she takes the whistle, which is around the Baroness's arm. She calls the dog out, the Baroness, and, uh, just so she can find um, and Ella talk. And Ella's like, you tried to kill me, and the Baroness is like, I'm sorry, I love you, and then um, they embrace, and then Ella's like, you're not gonna throw me off the cliff, are you? And Baroness is like, oh, you silly girl. And this is, like I said, this just shows how much of a damn good villain Emma Thompson is. Like, I actually believe that she was a villain. And it's amazing. If they were to do a Godfather 2 like Cruella, mm, um, I'm not sure. Like, in what way? Like, with violence and whatnot? Kind of like how the Godfather 2 is? Or what do you mean? Anyway, um, so everyone's outside, and the Baroness pushes Cruella and or Ella, and then she falls off the cliff, and that's what everyone wanted. It shows that Baroness is an evil little bit, evil fucking bitch, and she she goes to, and she's like, well, she fell, and everyone's seen that she was pushed off, and um, the Baroness goes to jail. So, and it's weird because, like I said, there's like times where it's like, and Doug and Brad talked about this too, about how there's this Disney movie, but then they're sprinkled into what this caper type deal. Like, if you, it was like I was watching the Disney version of Ocean's 11 sometimes, but like I sorry about that, folks. Doing a sequel to 102 Dalmatians with flashbacks when Emma Stone is young. Well, first off, I didn't really like 102 Dalmatians that much. It was for what it's worth, I liked the 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 movie, but I thought it was just kind of a necessary sequel. Just like I felt like they were doing it for like cash cow different kind of thing. But I mean, if that happened, would it like meaning like a sequel and like they do like the Godfather 2 thing where it's different act like older actors and then they have like flashbacks of Emma Stone and whatever and with Glenn Close reflecting um would I mean I think that would be I'm not sure because then it would kind of like it would kind of mix up two different movie universes. I mean, I think it would be interesting to say the least, but would I watch it? I'm not sure. I would have to say yes. Uh, also, probably would say no if that answers your question. Um, Not really sure, but that's a good question. It could have been a lot better. Like it could have been a way lot better. It's just another one of those cash cow sequels. Um, kind of, and that's a lot because I like some of the sequels from Disney. Like I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan of Pocahontas 2. I love The Lion King 2. Simba's Pride. Um, you know, Aladdin 2, Jafar's Revenge was all right, but I find myself liking Aladdin and the King of Thieves, the third sequel, much better than Return of Jafar for some reason. I guess it's because they brought Robin Williams back, rest in peace, uh, as the genie. But I did like the actor who played the genie in Return of Jafar, who actually voiced Squidward and Homer Simpson. I forget the guy's name, but even though they were trying to do the mannerisms like of Robin Williams, and they kind of failed. Kind of like what happened in the Aladdin remake with with Will Smith, but that's neither here nor there. That movie is just oh, that's another remake I don't like. It's a Aladdin remake, and one of my friends says it's okay. I'm like, I don't like it. Um, I can stand some of the remakes, but a lot of them I can't. Like I love Pete's Dragon, uh, love Lady and Tramp, I love Aladdin. Um, I haven't seen Cinderella yet. Um, Maleficent sucks. I'm not even gonna. I didn't even watch the sequel from Maleficent. I'm not really going to be honest, because why the hell would I? Uh, yeah, I would love to see a Hades movie, but it would be like another one of those movies where it's like, this is why he's a villain, and he's not truly a villain. You know, sometimes people were just born to be villains. You know, I heard Mulan sucked. I'm not gonna watch that really. I love Beauty and the Beast. Um, uh, it was a good movie. I liked it. I'm trying to figure out. I think that's all. Lion King I liked. I loved Lion King. Um, I think that's all of them. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, they have. So, like in the book, she has this huge fortune, and like she was born rich, you know, and in the book and especially in the book, and it tells about the Devilles and um, and the family and whatnot, her family and whatnot. And I guess I guess it's like we kind of I kind of thought like, well, she's rich, so how are they gonna be like how are they gonna like tell how she became rich, you know? Not from all the all the clothes, I guess. So, you know. But yeah, it was kind of out there to be like, oh, the the person that you hate, uh, that you rival with is your own mother. I mean, as twist goes, it's all right. Like, there's good twists and there's bad twists. I wouldn't say that was a bad twist, honestly. It was all right. So Ella survives, and then somehow by movie magic, um, makes it before the Baroness gets taken away. Which, by the way, plot armor. I would say this she's survived by plot armor because like you see her falling and then like she made this stitch in her dress where part of a dress where she pulled it and like the bottom half of her dress was a parachute. So she lands safely in the water. Uh, will be an ending. Um, the Baroness is put in jail, and of course, Cruella being the last known relative, um, has the state, has a car, and everything. Yeah, me neither. I mean, I feel kind of foolish because it was like I feel like it was one of those twists where I guess I could have seen it coming. But yeah, I was kind of like surprised, but not that surprised. Because like I said, it had to like it's just this is like I said in the beginning, this is one of those prequel movies where it's like it has to say it has to talk about like everything that happened is like this is what happened. This is what happens. This is why she's rich. This is why um the Dalmatians hate her. I do like in the I didn't talk about this though. When they were talking about what to do the uh what to do about the Baroness, um, Cruella actually talks about how, oh, she makes a remark about how how the dogs, the Dalmatians would make great coats. And then she's like, I'm joking to Horace. And it's a great Easter egg because that's the reason why Dottie Smith, who made the book when her One Dalmatians made the book for that reason because she was holding a party and one of her friends um, remarked jokingly, I say in quotes, that her Dalmatians would make great coats. Uh, so yeah, that was a good Easter egg. But anyway, uh, then there's an end credit. Oh, well, and then you see Cruella driving her to Ville, or a horse is driving to Ville, and they stop at the gate, and it has letters, the Ville House. They change it to Hell House, kind of like in the movie, you know. And again, it's these are one of the it's one of those those prequels that have to explain literally everything. Yeah, I actually like that. I actually liked. He was a pretty good horse, but I feel like it was pretty different from what it was in the animated show. Where, like in the animated movie, they were evil, whereas like I would say this kind of um, reflects on the live action remake with Horace and Jasper, where they're just uh, bumbling idiots, henchmen. But yeah, I forget the guy's name that played. Hold on. Hugh Laurie was a better Jasper, but I guess that's just me being being I guess biased because I love Hugh Laurie. But anyway, um, like him as Gregory House, uh, a bit of Fry and Laurie with um, Stephen Fry, their comedy skits on BBC and all that. Like I said, I guess I'm biased. But in credit scene where it surprisingly shows that uh, the two Dalmatians, which are now property Cruella, were given to uh, Anita, who was that friend I mentioned in, in high school that went on to be, well, elementary school, who went to be Cora's friend in her adulthood, and Roger, who was, I forgot to mention, is in this movie. Uh, Sabanas's lawyer, but was fired by the Baroness, and he blames Cruella for it. So yeah, so that scene opens up the beginning of 101 Dalmatians, and that just ties the whole thing together. Never mind the fact that I'm guessing that the dogs were related, so not to think about that. But yeah, that was Cruella. Uh, like I said, and as remakes go, it's not the worst, it's not the best. I would like to thank Hunter Hewlett for stopping by. Um, if you haven't subbed to me, Hunter, sub, like, and um, and don't forget to share. And hope everyone enjoyed this review, even though it was all over the place. Uh, I got my thoughts out. So, but yeah, another review is another review, another video is coming soon on Taylor Johnson. Uh, what I was gonna say is another video is coming soon, probably tomorrow or the next, uh, for the Aaron Taylor Johnson. Um, my thoughts on Taylor Johnson as Craven the Hunter, and my thoughts on that. So I'll see you guys later, and thanks for enduring my constant rambling on this. If you call it if you call it a review of Cruella, this half-assed review or whatever, I guess I should say. So, uh, see you guys later, and be good to each other, and don't let people get you down. Be better people, and thanks again, guys, because I appreciate you guys.